isn't good for your mental health. It just isn't. The way you look should be the least interesting thing about you. Wanting to work on yourself for the right reasons, because happiness is a mental game when it comes to cellulite, when it comes to stretch marks. Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Be Fit episode 3. I am Rebecca Short. Welcome. Today's video I chatted about body image, bloating, stretch marks, cellulite, the pressure on women in today's society, how to track your progress without stepping on a scale and not being defined by the way you look. So if you want to see all my thoughts on that, then keep watching. It is a bit all over the place, but that's because I kind of talked from my experience, and you know, I have a few notes in front of me, but I kind of wanted to keep it open so it wasn't too scripted. Before we get into today's video, I just want to put a bit of a trigger warning. If you are someone who is struggling with, you know, their mental health when it comes to their diet, fitness, like if you are struggling with any type of eating disorder or body dysmorphia or anything like that, and you are aware of that and you are getting treatment for that, I'm just giving a warning that this video might be a bit sensitive for you. I won't be giving out any detrimental advice to anyone's health, but at the end of the day, I am not a professional, and if you feel like before or after watching today's video that you need the help of a professional, that is like, you do that. You do what is best for you. We're going to be talking about pressure, and in particular the pressure on women, just because I am a woman, so obviously I'm only talking from my own personal experience, but obviously there's generalized pressure on not just women as well. I acknowledge that. I'm just not obviously an expert in that because I'm talking through my experience. So the second I announced that I was doing this series, that I was doing a fitness series, you know, that I want to talk about all things from like what I do in the gym, what I eat, to like just general chit chats, and what I've noticed from, you know, being in the world of fitness, and from being a girl and from being a woman, and from seeing what I have seen, whether it's with family or friends or strangers or conversations I've overheard. You know, I feel like diet culture is absolutely massive, and it's also absolutely detrimental to people's well-being, to the way they view themselves, to the way they view their bodies. When I said that I was starting this series, the first few questions I got, like under videos or in my DMs or anything like that, was, oh, can you talk about how you deal with bloating, and can you talk about how you deal with stretch marks, and how you deal with cellulite, and how you deal with hip dips. And like, all the questions I got were aesthetic questions. They were all focused on appearance. There was no like, can you talk about what exercises make you feel strong? Can you talk about feeling stronger in yourself? Can you talk about, you know, how exercise is good for your mental? Like, they're not the questions I got. All the questions I got were aesthetic. So I thought it was very important for me to, you know, talk about it openly, and just so I can refer everyone back to this video in future episodes. My relationship with my body and with myself and with my weight and with my height and with my appearance is very positive. I don't beat myself up. I don't look in the mirror for hours and pick and poke at certain parts of my body. I don't, like, to be honest, my stomach isn't flat, so like I never, like, I know when I'm bloated, when I've like period bloat, because it's like hard, but I don't deal with severe bloating. And I know that severe bloating can come from intolerances, whether that's intolerances you have developed or intolerances that you were born with, or intolerances that ultimately you give yourself by overly restricting yourself. I don't deal with bloating. I get bloated, and it's a thing that happens to me, but when I'm bloated, I don't stand in the mirror for an hour and pick and poke and say, oh, I wish I wasn't bloated, you know. I think first of all, the most important thing is to realize that the way you look should be the least interesting thing about you. Think about that quote. Think about that statement. You shouldn't base your self-worth and how you present yourself to the world on whether or not you're bloated that day, whether or not your cellulite's showing, whether or not you have stretch marks on the inside of your legs that no one sees anyway. Like, that's not what you should base your self-worth. That's not what should be the most interesting thing about you, you know? You don't, if you met someone new tomorrow and the only thing positive you could say about them was, oh yeah, they had a really flat stomach, or oh yeah, they had really nice legs, or oh yeah, they'd really toned arms. Like, do you see where I'm coming from? I think women put themselves under huge pressure, huge mental pressure and huge physical pressure to be perfect, to be all these things that they think they'll be happy when they are, you know. I'll be happy when I have a flat stomach, I'll be happy when I have toned arms, I'll be happy when I have stronger legs, I'll be happy. And you won't. Long story short, you won't, because happiness is a mental game, and happiness is all about what is going on inside your head. When you realize what your why is, when you realize, you know, you have to love yourself before you can change anything. Because if you want to change something about yourself, it means that you don't love yourself in your entirety. You know, you can love yourself in entirety and be like, look, to be honest, I have gained a bit of weight, it's not healthy, but I still love who I am, I love how I look. You know, they're not two separate things. Loving yourself doesn't come when you reach a certain weight on the scale, or when you know, have a certain measurement on your waist. That's not where loving yourself comes from. And I just kind of really want to reiterate that in today's video, especially when it comes to weight, because as women, our weight fluctuates so much. If you define your life by a number on the scale, by I'll be happy when I'm however many pounds, I'll be happy when I'm however many kg, I'll be happy when I'm however many stone. You have to do the mental work. You have to sit with yourself and be like, why will I be happy when I'm however many, whatever you said. Like, why will that ultimately bring me happiness? Because it won't. I have been lighter, or I've weighed less than I weigh now, and I have been less happy. You know, I don't think you should relate your happiness to what you look like. You know, I think it's such a sensitive subject, because I think so many people have so many deep-rooted issues when it comes to their bodies, when it comes to cellulite, when it comes to stretch marks, when it comes to looking in the mirror and only seeing the bad things about them, when it comes to looking in the mirror for an hour a day and just picking themselves apart. That's not healthy. No matter what weight, height, how healthy you are, staring at yourself in a mirror and thinking to yourself what you should change or what you would change isn't good for your mental health. It just isn't. And I just want you all to understand that, you know, maybe it's something you do and you don't even notice, but the next time you do it, just think and just be like, why am I doing this? Why am I standing in front of a mirror being like, oh, I want to change this, I want to change that? And some of you might be looking at your screens now being like, Rebecca, you're a hypocrite. You already said you want to be in the best shape of your life this year. Like, clearly you want to change your body. Clearly you want to do this, that and the other. Yes, I do, but I want to do it from a strength point of view. Like, I want to do it from a, I want to lift this many weights in the gym. I want to do it from a, I want to feel amazing. I feel good in my body right now. I don't feel bad, but I know I could feel better, and I know I could feel stronger, and I know I could push myself more. The way I'm going to do that isn't by staring in the mirror every day, picking myself apart, or looking down at my cellulite or stretch marks. Like, I've stretch marks all over my boobs, like all over my boobs, and that is because when they came in initially, they came in quick, and obviously my weight has fluctuated over the years and my boobs have been bigger and smaller, and from being on the pill as well. But I don't actively stare down at my chest and stare down at my stretch marks on my chest and pick myself apart and say, oh, I wish I didn't have those. You have to realize that, like, your mental health is so important, and your mental state, and how you view your body, and how you look in a mirror. When you look in a mirror, do you automatically go for the good, or do you automatically go for the bad? And obviously there was times in my life when I looked in a mirror and picked myself apart. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I'm saying that when you do the mental work, and when you follow people who are inspiring and who are body positive, It really helps. I want to talk about cellulite right now. Cellulite is basically a layer of fat under your skin. There's actually no scientific reason to know why we do or don't have it. It's always been there. People have always had cellulite. Marilyn Monroe had cellulite. Like, everyone has it. Like, I don't understand why you would demonize it, like why you would say, oh, I just hate it, I just hate it, I just hate it, I just hate it. And you're constantly reaffirming these things in your brain. You're constantly, whereas if you're like, it's there, the more muscle you have on your legs, the less cellulite you will have, because obviously if your muscle mass is higher than your fat mass, then that's just science. So go to the gym, do like work on strengthening your legs. Don't be like, oh, I need to lose like 2 stone because of my cellulite, because realistically, if you lose that 2 stone and you don't build muscle, you'll still have it. You know, everyone has it. It's normal. It only started to become demonized when magazines started demonizing it. Like, it's always been there. Stretch marks are a sign of skin growing. So, you know, we start out as tiny human beings. A tiny human being could fit in my hand, and now I'm 5'7". So skin stretches. It's normal. Men have them all over their arms and their shoulder from gaining muscle. It's not something that, again, should be demonized, should be looked at as a negative thing. You shouldn't hold your self-worth in whether or not you have cellulite or stretch marks, you know? There is bloating, and obviously there's so many different levels of bloating. When you wake up in the morning, realistically, your stomach is empty. You've been fasting, so your stomach will be flat. When you eat food, your stomach expands so that it can digest it properly. No one looks the same as they do when they wake up in the morning to when they go to bed at night. It's science. It's how our bodies are made to work. And especially as women, we have way more organs there. All our reproductive system is essentially where our stomach is. So we have more organs. So, you know, we need space for those organs. Like, it's science, you know? Like, you don't have to demonize yourself for all these things that happen to you. You don't have to comment negative things about your body all the time. Women are made to have a higher body fat percentage than men naturally. We have to have a high body fat percentage so that we can carry a child, so that we can get pregnant. Again, it's science. Your body has to be healthy enough and at a healthy weight so that your reproductive system can work properly. If you are dieting at the moment and you have lost your menstrual cycle, that is something you need to work on. You need to stop dieting. You need to go to a doctor. You need to go to a professional, a health professional. Get that back on track, because it is so bad for women to lose their menstrual cycle, because it's not just that you don't have a period. Like, there's so many other things that go along with it. If you dieted down so far that you ended up losing your period, you could also suffer from hair loss, headaches, changes in your vision, like your ability to see. You would have a decreased bone density and an increased risk of heart disease. So as women, we need our period. It's not just something that happens so that we can have a baby. It's our reproductive system is essential to our health, basically. Now I'm going to talk about how to, say you are overweight. And I don't mean overweight by like 1 or 2 pounds, or that you think you could be. Like, if you're generally overweight, you know, that you are overweight for your height, for your body. And I'm not talking BMI, because BMIs can be so misleading. I mean that you have a lot of excess fat on your body and you want to start going to the gym and start tracking your progress, but you don't want to weigh yourself, because again, as women, our weight fluctuates so much, and if you don't have a good relationship with your body and with the weight on the scale, it can really hurt your mental health and it can really hurt you mentally. You know, some people can get very focused on the numbers to the point where if they're up a pound, they nearly run 5k in the gym. I understand that some people, you know, they want to track their progress but they don't want to weigh themselves, because again, if you are at a lower body fat percentage, if you're at a healthy body fat and you start weight training, you could actually gain weight, but your body composition could totally change. So the ways I like to track that aren't weight are a measuring tape. So, you know, measuring tape, like a flexible one. I would measure my waist, like the smallest part of my waist. I would measure my thighs, I would measure my arms, and I would measure around my stomach. And basically you can write those numbers down, and every week or every 2 weeks or every month even, it doesn't have to be as, you know, you don't have to do it every single week. I wouldn't do it daily because there'd be no point in that. You can see, are the numbers either increasing or decreasing depending on your goals. You know, if you wanted to build size in your legs, if you wanted to build muscle, then you might want to increase those numbers. Or if you felt like you had extra literal fat, not just bloating, around your stomach, then you could look at those numbers. Another way to do it is by photos. So, you know, sometimes we mightn't notice a difference in ourselves, but if we saw a photo, we would. So what you're going to do is take a photo in either the same gym gear, the same underwear, the same bikini. And I would do it the same. So say if I took mine last week, and last week was the week after I had my period, then I would take it that same time. Because say if I took a picture this week and it was like the first, you know, week after I had my period, and then if I took a picture the week of my period, I could be holding more water, retaining water, I could be bloated. You know, when you are menstruating, you can retain water in your face, in your, like I always kind of retain it in my back for some reason. So I'd always make sure that the photos correlate to my menstrual cycle. There's actually a really very informative piece on your menstrual cycle and how it affects your weight in this book. I know I've referenced this book in like every episode of this so far, but I think genuinely, a girl actually messaged me during the week saying she bought it because she saw me recommending it, and she said it has changed her outlook on everything. James actually wrote a bit on like the female fat loss. Like he wrote male fat loss and female fat loss because they're such different things and we're affected by such different things. I think, like, genuinely, you can even get this book for free. I'm not saying you have to buy it. Like, you can literally download Audible, get a free trial. With the Audible and a free trial, you get a free book and you can just listen to it. Do that. Because, like, he is a professional. You know, I'm not a professional. I'm just talking from my experience and what I've learned throughout the years and what my outlook on it is, you know. But I think that is very important. I understand for girls it can be very hard, and you know, you can feel like you're not good enough because of your body. That's all from influences. So that's all from magazines, TV, you know, what people say. Like people are like, oh, I'll be happy now once I lose 5 pounds. Whereas like, you don't even know what a 5 pound loss looks like on your body. Would you not be better saying I'll be happy once I get into a consistent gym routine and focus on foods that fuel that? And I know some of you are looking at me now being like, oh, but like, it's true. It is true. If you're consistent with working out, with being active, you don't even have to go to a gym and lift weights if you don't want to, if that's not your buzz. Like if you say, oh yeah, I'll be happy, like you have to be active and you have to, you know, do things that make your brain happy, like genuinely. And as women as well, it's very important to get all the nutrients in. So I'm not obviously talking about like nutrition and stuff in this video, but you can't cut out carbs and you can't cut out fat because you think they're bad. Fats are #1 essential for women, like so essential for our development and our skin and our hair and our nails. And carbs literally give you energy, and there is carbs in vegetables. As girls and as women, there is so much pressure, but I think you really have to do the work on yourself and the mental work on yourself. I was even talking to someone recently and she was like, oh yeah, I just know once I get to whatever weight, she was saying, that I'll feel good about myself. I know I always feel good at that weight. And I was like, but do you not feel good now? And she was like, no, I do. And I was like, and do you feel comfortable in your clothes? She was like, no, I do. And I was like, and you work out and you exercise and you eat properly? She was like, yeah. And I was like, so why do you need to get to this magical weight? What do you think is going to change? And she was like, well, that weight is just where I'm happy. And I was like, but you said you're happy now. And she was like, yeah, I am. And I was like, and you're training now and you're exercising now and you're eating right now and your clothes fit right now and there's like, you're not having any health complications. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, so where is this idea that you need to be this weight? Like, why is this number your be all and end all? Because it's not. And like, when you realize that you don't need to define yourself, your body, off a number or off how much cellulite you have or stretch marks you have or bloated you are. You know, I think health and fitness is such a journey of loving yourself first and wanting to work on yourself for the right reasons as opposed to the wrong reasons. And once you can decipher between those reasons, and it's individual for everyone, you know, everyone has individual reasons and everyone has individual motivations. But once you can say that your motivations come from a good, healthy place, then I think you're sorted. I think today's video was a bit all over the place, but I kind of just said my thoughts because stretch marks are so normal. Like, it's your skin stretching, you know, cellulite is so normal. Like, everyone has it. It can literally depend on genetics. I think what you should take away from today's video is stop looking in the mirror and picking yourself apart. Start looking in the mirror and saying, oh my god, I'm getting stronger. Oh my god, my hair looks great. Oh my god, I like my outfit today. Like, it doesn't have to be all about whether or not your stomach is bloated that day or whether or not, you know, does that make sense? Am I making sense? I hope I am. But if you have any questions, if you have any queries, you can comment them in the comments below. If you don't feel like commenting them publicly, you can email me. I'll leave my email down in the description for anyone who is, you know, having trouble. Again, I'm not a professional, but maybe I will have a bit of insight that can help you. I hope you all enjoyed today's sit down, chit chat, you know, talking about body image and all that kind of stuff. I hope that you look at yourself in a more positive light. I hope that you write down the things that you appreciate about yourself. I hope you write down the things that you love about yourself, that you're grateful for, and that you do whatever you're doing in a healthy way, in a way that's healthy for your body and healthy for your mind, because at the end of the day, you're the only one who lives in your head. So you have to make sure that that is the best place to live, that that's the most positive, light, happy place, that it's not full of negative thoughts, of negative situations, of beating yourself up, of tearing yourself apart, because that's never, it's never going to work. Because you could get to whatever weight or whatever size you think you should be at, that you think will make you happy, but you still won't be happy. And I'm telling you that you, unless you do the mental work and unless your mental space is positive and happy, you won't be happy. If you have any suggestions of any videos that you want to see or any questions or anything, you can comment them down below, email me. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching this video. I know it was a sensitive subject and I know it might have resonated with you a bit, but that's good because that's self-awareness. You know, you're realizing that, oh God, I do that. Oh God, that probably isn't good for my mental health. That probably isn't good for me. And that's why I want this series to be, you know, I want this series to be opening up conversations that maybe aren't openly talked about. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.